Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, where today, as we promised, we are going to be breaking down the NFC in our famous power rankings here. Hopefully, we won't get as argumentative here as we did with the AFC ones. We brought along a special guest to join us for our NFC power rankings. You're going to be seeing him a lot as we do our football coverage here. It's going to be our eye live in the sky at the stadium, Mr. Paulie B. Welcome to the show. And as always, I'm Mike, joined by Mr. T. Reese and Mr. Sean O'Neill. And guys, we're going to break it down. Let's talk about those NFC power rankings. All right, guys. So we're gonna do it the same way we did it before. We have to come to an agreement, and I know Sean and T, you guys are, you guys are like children here. So I'm gonna have to kind of have Polly mediate this a little bit here. So,
We're screwed.
so let's kick it off. So, we're gonna go in reverse order. So, in my opinion, the 16th or worst team in the NFC is the New Orleans Saints. And it's the New Orleans Saints because now we're knowing that Derek Carr is no longer going to be the starting quarterback. They have a rookie, but yeah, we have no idea what's going on with that team. They're a dumpster fire. What did they lose 13 games last year after winning their first two? So I think that they're one of the worst teams in the league. And maybe only the Giants, maybe a little bit worse than that. But the Giants did also draft a rookie quarterback substantially higher than them. So with that and with Dable with a rookie quarterback, I would give them a slight edge, but I'll leave it to you guys. So what do we think?
I still think the Giants are worse. They're my who I would put at 16. I think they're too much of a unknown quantity, and they're just their front office is such a dumpster fire. I don't think it matters who the Giants draft.
Wally?
The dumpster fire thing is a bit overrated for me. I think we're being a little harsh on the front office just because they got rid of Saquon so publicly. Yeah, that was a huge mistake, but they weren't going to win with Saquon or without Saquon. That being said, I would go with Mike on the New Orleans Saints. They're just what are they doing? Where are they going? I don't even think they know. I think at least with the Giants, you have some sort of direction with the rookie quarterback and competent coaching. I think
My dumpster fire comment was in regards to more than just letting Saquon go. It was the choosing of Daniel Jones over Saquon.
Well, they had no choice because Daniel Jones had a contract, and it was ironclad. I mean, they signed him too early was the problem, and they got spooked. He had one decent season, thought they had Josh Allen, and then it turned into, shit. Excuse my French, but I am going to disagree with all of you.
Oh God,
Soccer.
Here we go.
My worst team is the Panthers. Panthers are the worst team in the NFC. Currently, their roster is built around who?
Bryce Young.
True, but I think that Chupa Hubbard is a decent enough player. And I mean, the Panthers were in a lot of games last year. They did almost beat the Chiefs, and they've drafted a lot on the defensive line. They brought in that kid Derek, what's his name, Derek Brown. That kid's going to be a game changer. So I think the Panthers are better than the Saints and the Giants.
I will say one thing pro Reese here in his selection of the Panthers. You don't have our Buffalo Bills are not picking up their scabs anymore.
No.
So I mean that's gotta say something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, the
Sean McDermott connection.
I'm looking at this team's roster right now. I literally can name maybe two players of notice on that team. They're not even Pro Bowlers. They don't have any. They still don't have anything there. I don't care what they drafted. That's unproven draft pick. They have nothing. They're starting from the bottom this year.
Okay, the New Orleans Saints right now on their depth chart have one wide receiver listed, and that's Kevin Austin Jr. Do any of you know who he is? Yeah. And right
Yeah.
now their starting quarterback is Spencer Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
I still think
You're telling me that's better than Jackson Dart and Bryce Young and Chuba Hubbard? I don't think so. I
I
don't think so.
honestly think
The
How,
only,
you
there,
is it,
there is
how is it
one
no different? He's a second-year quarterback.
there is
You're gonna compare him to who?
there is one there other than Alvin Kamara. Can you name one player on the Saints? One.
Taysom Hill.
I don't think he's there anymore, is he?
He's still there.
Okay, Taysom Hill.
Gotcha.
I rest my case. I mean,
I think that all three of these teams.
Jordan wasn't there. Defensive end there. Jordan, what's his name? He's a Pro Bowler.
You'll get it.
One of these times, I'm gonna get this point out.
Go ahead, get your point out. I'm trying to remember his damn name.
Okay. Well, while you're trying to remember that old man, I'm gonna say my piece. Honestly, I think all three of these teams are really they're basically interchangeable at the bottom there. Like they all suck in their own individual ways. I mean, at least with Carolina, Bryce Young was starting to show a little bit of promise towards the end of the season. I don't know that you could say that really about the Saints and with the Giants, I mean, we'll cut them some slack. They had a bunch of injuries, and now that they are moving away from Daniel Jones, they may be better. So I think I might be leaning towards Mike's opinion of the Saints at the very bottom, but I still think that all three of these teams could go in any spot there.
you know what the tiebreaker is going to be? The tiebreaker is going to be that the Saints have a player on their roster called Kool-Aid.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Kool-Aid Jenkins?
I should put them at the bottom automatically.
Kool-Aid McKinstry is a corner for the Saints.
What position?
Corner.
Okay, I think that should put them in first place.
Yeah.
But
So
hang on.
I think the Saints go to the bottom.
The Saints. Cameron Jordan is the Pro Bowler that's over there. They even added Chase Young to their defense and Chris Rumph. So I mean, regardless of the fact, if you're going to compare bad teams, you got to go against their defenses. If you got a bad defense, you should be at the bottom. Panthers have a bad defense. They should be at the bottom. Saints defense is much better than theirs.
So I think this is the reason we brought Mr. Pauly in to break these ties. So I say we leave this up to Pauly.
My first instinct was to go with Carolina. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. Before this even started. Worst when you think about worst teams in the NFL. I mean, they had the first overall pick last year and barely scratched the surface of the dregs of the league.
So if we have these three teams, let's do what we did yesterday. Maybe we can kind of come to a consensus, or Tuesday, and come to a consensus here. So the Saints and the Giants, neutral field, 10 games. Who wins more?
I would say probably the Saints.
It's a 50-50 to me.
5 and
that's
5?
a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm saying the Giants are going to win more games than the Saints.
I also agree. I think the Giants would win more games than the Saints.
And actually thinking about it with all the new people, I'd take that back. I'd go Giants.
Okay, so we're 3-1 that the Giants are better than the Saints. So Carolina or the Saints, neutral field, 10 games.
No, I agree with the Giants.
I honestly think if you do that, it's going to be 50-50. These two teams are in the same division. They're very used to playing each other. I think it would be 50-50. And I know that doesn't help at all, but.
So Saints, Panthers, Giants.
Panthers.
That's the worst team, right?
Is the worst teams. We can put a star. We can star Carolina if you want, and we can just say it's a tie. If you really want to do that.
Paul gets to the Panthers too.
Right. Sean and I are for the Saints. So we can star them and we'll put them both collectively at the bottom.
All right.
And then we'll put the Giants at 14.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right.
All right.
like I said, the bottom of the NFC is significantly worse, I think, than the bottom of the AFC. But it's tough.
Okay. At number 13, I'm going to make this a little interesting. At number 13, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are bad. I don't trust Michael Penix at all. I don't think he's very good. I think that they lost a lot of their talent. I think Bijan is already looking washed up, and I don't really trust them at all to be a good team. And I mean, yeah, their division's not that great, but I mean, it very much seems like Tampa's going to run away with that division.
Yeah, basically saying that is basically just crowning Tampa Bay the champion of the NFC South.
Yeah,
I agree. I always forget that Atlanta has a team.
yeah.
Every couple of years, Atlanta does decent, but it's like every 4 or 5 years they will get lucky and have a decent season. For the most part, they are collectively. I mean, that whole division, even Tampa, sometimes that division can be collectively bad. Like it's like the AFC South. It's I mean both conferences have a division that's just bad, and that's the NFC's division that's bad.
So we comfortable with this? Atlanta at 13. Reese, any objection?
Yeah, I'll put Atlanta at 13.
Okay.
Who's their QB, Penix?
Penix right now. Yeah. All right. So now it's going to get interesting. So now, number 12, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I do not think the Dallas Cowboys are a very good football team. As we saw last year, they were one of the worst defenses in the league, right up there with Cincinnati. Cincinnati levels of bad. Dallas got blown out how many times last year? How many instances did you and I bet on the Dallas Cowboys on DraftKings for them to get blown the F out by everybody? And they got blown out by bad teams. A lot of bad teams really just blew out the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott looks like a shell of himself. The only wide receiver on the roster there who's worth anything is CeeDee Lamb. I mean, what did they do anything to shore up their defense? Because it certainly doesn't look like it. I think until Jerry Jones is gone, I can't ever see that team doing anything promising. Not to mention they're in a division with Washington and Philadelphia, who are light years better than them.
I mean, brother, that's a bold one. That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Look at all the teams. Look at all the teams above them: Philly, Los Angeles, Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa, San Francisco, Seattle, Arizona, Minnesota, Chicago. Are any of those teams worse than Dallas?
Yes.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago just added a ton of pieces. They had 11 draft picks. Caleb's got another year
that's
under his belt.
and that's fine to talk about the pieces they added in the draft, but that's exactly what they are. It's just pieces. That's all speculation. I mean, I want to go on actual, are these guys good or are they not? And if I'm putting up the Cowboys against the Bears, while I agree with you, Mike, I want to shit on the Cowboys as much as the next person, but I think it's a bit unfair to put them behind teams like Arizona and teams like Chicago, who I think rightfully belong below them. For sure.
It really
and Seattle too. Seattle for that matter too.
It pains me to say it as a Seahawks fan, but I would probably put Seattle down there with the fact that they're in a straight up rebuild year. I think that you'd have to put Seattle below the Cowboys.
So you don't think So see, a couple things on the Seahawks. So the Seahawks did add Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. The Seahawks did get a new coach. I mean, I don't think the Seahawks are going to be as bad as the Dallas Cowboys.
Darnold was a fluke last year.
I don't know about that.
I had Arizona in that spot.
Who?
I have Arizona there.
Yeah, I mean, I would more than likely want to put Arizona before the Cowboys for sure. I mean, there's definitely a debate between the Seahawks and the Cowboys. But did we already?
I'm looking at the Cowboys roster. They did add quite a few pieces.
I like Paulie's comments about the Bears being in that spot.
I think the Bears are better than, like, if we're talking just power rankings. I think the Bears could beat both of those teams. 10
Who's
out of 10.
coaching the Cowboys this year? Is it still McCarthy?
No, they fired him.
Did
It's
they fire him?
who the hell did they bring in?
I don't have a second phone anymore.
Schottenheimer.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
I mean, that might count for something too.
I think it will. And I'm looking.
I can be talked into putting Arizona. I can be talked into putting Arizona ahead of or behind Dallas. I could be talked into that. I don't think Arizona's very good either. I mean, you never know what you're going to get with Kyler Murray.
It depends on how
I
many.
think by this time we know what we're getting with Kyler Murray. We're getting, not much.
Right. I mean, he's a limited quarterback. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And to me, that team's bad because of him.
Right.
They have all the pieces around him.
He's just a bad. He's not a good enough quarterback. He's too short.
Right.
And go ahead.
Right. And how many times have we saw this during the drought here where we had all the pieces in place, but we had a whole bunch of stones in the quarterback bucket that shouldn't have been there. I mean, we don't have to go through the list of names, but I mean, we've been there before where we had a limited quarterback, but other pieces that kind of made our team a little bit better. And I think that's just where Arizona is right now. And I think that they definitely deserve to be below a team like the Cowboys.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
I can get behind that. So Arizona at 12. Dallas at 11.
I still think the Bears.
Don't forget, Seattle almost made the playoffs last year.
I agree. I would put. I would. Yeah. I mean, you could put him at 11, I guess.
Seattle almost made the playoffs last year, and the Bears played spoiler for a lot of teams last year. And that bonehead coach of theirs is gone now.
But all those pieces are gone. They don't have them no more in Seattle. Actually, I mean, they should be in the bottom 5. They got no wide receivers, no quarterback, new coach, defense revamped.
They replaced Metcalf with Cooper Kupp, which I don't know that that's an upgrade. I'd say that's probably an equal thing. I mean, yeah, Metcalf was a bigger, stronger receiver, but I think Kupp is more. I don't know if agile is the right word. If he can stay healthy,
he's injury prone. That's the problem, and he's older now. He's not going to be the same guy that he was with the Rams. That's absolutely, unequivocally, no argument there. He will not have any season he's had in the past. And
I mean, Darnold could end up being an upgrade over Geno. I mean, Geno didn't do bad in Seattle, but if Darnold somehow manages to have the same type of year that he had last year, I mean, but I personally don't see him having that good of a year again.
And he's not throwing to Jefferson, so I mean, yeah, he's gonna have a bad year.
So we would put.
Seattle? I mean, Seattle's. I mean, that's pretty weak division as well. I mean, you got San Francisco, who's probably going to run away with things, but I mean, it's a pretty weak division. They should be able to at least come close to 500 in that division. Seattle, that is. Whereas Dallas has a tougher road ahead of them as far as their division is concerned. So I think if we're going to go between the two and even Arizona, I would put Dallas here, sure.
Okay, so Dallas here, and then we think Seattle at 10.
Seattle, or did we already put Arizona in?
Yeah,
Arizona,
we did.
Arizona,
okay. Yeah, then Seattle. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Seattle at 10.
Seattle or the Bears?
So then the Bears at 9.
Which team has the brighter future?
I think the Bears have a much brighter future.
The Bears have a brighter future. Yeah.
The Bears.
Okay, so the Bears
at 9.
Bears at 9, Seahawks at 10, Dallas at 11, Cardinals at 12. Okay. 8.
So those are all our non-playoff teams then, right? Everyone else is a playoff team. No, there's 6. Or is there 8? 7. Sure. So we need one more non-playoff team.
All right. This is going to be a little controversial, but I'm going to say the 8th team here is the San Francisco 49ers.
I think that's where I have them myself. So,
and the reason I say that is a couple of reasons. One, as we talked about during the draft, San Francisco spent all of their resources in the draft, literally their first 5 picks on defense. San Francisco has Brandon Ayuk, who tore his ACL, never come back the same from that. Deebo Samuel is gone. Christian McCaffrey is going to come out in a wheelchair. And Brock Purdy, who is not good, it's been proven, is not good if he doesn't have the talent around him. I think San Francisco is going to be lucky to win 5 games this year.
They're definitely going to struggle this year. They don't have much, to lean back on. That's why they draft so much defense, and Robert Saleh's back there. So he's going to try and bring back what he ran when he was there a few years back. But you're right. Their offense is shot. Even their left tackle, what's his face? That dude never plays. He's considered the best left tackle in the league, but never plays. So I don't know what the Niners are going to do. I can definitely probably see them maybe 6 games, probably 6 games. I couldn't even tell you what their plan is this year. It's just to run a bunch of young guys on defense and hope for the best.
And I think that all of the teams that are above them, all of the playoff teams, Philly, Rams, Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa, and Minnesota, are all better than them.
Honestly, yes. While I agree, I just interject real quick. We cannot let Minnesota go. Who's going to have a bigger fall off? Is it going to be Minnesota or San Francisco? Minnesota is in a really, really, really tough division, especially if we think that the Bears are going to take any steps forward. That means you're going to see somebody in the NFC North take a major step backwards. If anyone in the North is going to take a step backwards, it's probably going to be Minnesota, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I really, I'm having a hard time putting Minnesota above San Francisco here, just because I think the fall off is going to be a lot greater for a team like Minnesota than there is going to be if the 49ers fall off. Like I said, they're still in that weak division. I think we could still, I think they still have a good shot. They should be the favorite to win the NFC West.
No, the Rams are.
The Rams, you think?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know. I think they'll be up there with the Rams just because of the division. I don't really have much faith in this division. I think the NFC North is the strongest division, and I think if a team's going to fall off, it's going to be the Vikings, and it should fall off pretty quick. Or their fall off should be steeper for Minnesota because their room for error is so tiny.
And they're going to the equivalent of a rookie quarterback too, with the guy having gotten hurt in the preseason last year.
Yeah.
My point about San Francisco is it's kind of tough to judge them based off of last year. When you look back at last year, and a stiff breeze injured that team. Like, that team had so many devastating injuries throughout the year last year that, like, how do you make any sort, like, how do you use that as any form of judgment? So I don't know. They lost people, but if they come back healthy, if McCaffrey can somehow figure out how to make his legs work again, then that always gives him a chance.
Can he though? McCaffrey might be done forever. That's tough. And their other best player, Ayuk, coming back from an ACL, that's never the same for wide receivers.
Dude,
not start the season either, they said.
McCaffrey caught a super case of the Madden curse.
Yeah. And don't forget now, Ayuk will be playing without Deebo. He has not been alone in that offense.
That's exactly my point. San Francisco, their defense might be better bringing Salah in, but they're going to look just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, if anything else like that. Like, how are you going to score points?
Oh, Pittsburgh still found ways to win. As T was so adamant in our thing the other day.
Yeah, I have to give them the credit; they deserve it. But Minnesota doesn't have Pittsburgh's defense.
No,
I'm looking at their quarterbacks. It's McCarthy, Brett Ripken, and Sam Howell, who they just traded for.
Who's the rookie? McCarthy.
So they're going to be pretty rough this year. But the only argument you get back is they still have offensive weapons.
They do,
regardless. They definitely have more weapons than most of the teams in the NFC.
I think I can agree with Paulie though that out of the two teams there, that you're likely to see a steeper drop off from Minnesota than because I mean, how much more could San Francisco drop off?
But you're saying that they won't make the playoffs though?
It's a tough division. Paulie himself said it. That division is tough.
Yeah,
Are you
but
sure?
the rest of them teams are pretty bad. They could have 3 teams go out of that division.
The division's tough for sure, right? Like their division is absolutely tough, but I mean, they're not going to lose every one of their division games, right? Like, could they go 1-1 with Detroit? Sure. Could they beat Green? Could they go 1-1 with Green Bay? Maybe. Could they beat Chicago? Yeah, I think so. And then they got to win a lot of their other outside of the division games, which they absolutely could do. I mean, Minnesota could still win 8 or 9 games. I don't think San Francisco could win 8 or 9 games.
Or at
Paul,
least it'd be a struggle to win 8 or 9 games.
I mean, you still got Justin Jefferson. You still got
Addison, Aaron,
Addison.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's their quarterback again? Mac Jones?
No.
Somebody like that.
What's his face?
Oh,
And don't forget about T.J. Hawkinson.
What's the rookie's name? Yeah, they brought Hawkinson over from the Lions, right?
Yeah, he's been there. He was there last year.
is he a tight end?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Paulie's right though. With the questions at quarterback there, I think that leaves a big question mark on that team.
I mean, I don't feel comfortable having them much higher than this, only because we're at the playoff threshold. Yeah, sure, they're going to be a bubble team. Then I think they got more uphill battle than anybody else. I'm okay with putting San Francisco here, but I just want to get Minnesota in the conversation just because we can't let them slide too far.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I think Minnesota is very clearly 7. Like, yeah, I mean, on the bubble here, I just don't think the 49ers can score enough. And I think the only other team in the NFC that can even considerably challenge for a playoff spot is Chicago. I think the Seahawks, all the way down to the Saints, who we had from 10 to 16, I think those teams are already mathematically eliminated before the season starts. But I mean, Chicago could contend. Any one of these teams, Chicago, San Francisco, and Minnesota, could contend for that 7 spot. I just don't think that San Francisco has the horses on offense.
Well, as long as we put Minnesota right above them, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you compare the two, Minnesota to the Niners, Paul, I would say San Fran then Minnesota.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but like I said, I wanted to bring them in just so we didn't forget about them.
Okay. All right, so that's 7. So 6, I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. Clearly a playoff team, probably the best team in the NFC West. Bringing in Devontae Adams is huge for them. I think Matthew Stafford is probably far and above the best quarterback in that division. Like, it's not close. And they ramped up their defense amazingly in the draft. I think they're going to be a really good team. I easily have them winning 10 games, especially in that bad division.
It's crazy. I think interchangeably, I think the Bucks and Rams you can interchange both of those in those 2 spots.
It's so funny. It's so funny you say that because I have the Bucks next.
I think they're real similar teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're both that high-powered offense. I
think the Bucks are more explosive than them. I mean, Bake Show is going to turn the ball over like crazy, but Bake Show is going to throw for 5,000 yards.
Wait, when do we start calling him Bake Show?
Since we don't really hate him anymore.
And I would really like to say that Cleveland is still one of the dumbest franchise in the history of sports, just for what they did with him and what they did after him.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. I mean, it's sad, really.
Well, they're paying the price now.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, they do have the greatest non-playing quarterback in the history of the league. So,
Two of them.
But yeah, I like it. I can't argue that one, Mike. I think both those teams are interchangeable in this spot.
Both playoff teams. I mean, Tampa obviously is a playoff team because they're going to win that division. Like, they're going to run away with that division. And I think the Rams are going to run away with their division. So both of these teams are division winners. And that alone, I mean, is going to give them a home playoff game.
My
Tampa for sure. Los Angeles, probably.
my only concern with the Rams is that A, Stafford's a year older, and B, the Rams are another one of those teams that can out of nowhere have like weirdly off years. They're one of those teams where that happens to them kind of frequently. So I don't feel 100% comfortable saying that they're going to run away with the division.
Dude,
Um,
I'm still spooked about what they did to the Bills in like week 13.
look at the middle of the season though with the Rams this past year. There was a
Sure,
point where the Rams weren't looking good this past season.
sure, but if the Rams play like that, the Rams could beat anybody.
Yeah, but you could say about any team that comes out and has a monster game like that.
I mean, I don't think a lot of teams.
Look at Detroit putting up just about the same.
Yeah, but Detroit beat up on a lot of bad teams
I mean, hell, Miami put up 70 points in a goddamn game.
against a bad team. Denver. They did it against Denver like 5 years ago when Denver was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, like I said, I know where you're trying to come from, Sean, because you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. You want to have a little glimmer of hope.
Oh,
But,
you heard my thoughts on Seattle.
but still, yeah, Mike's right. I can't argue back at it. I give you this one.
The only reason I put Tampa ahead of the Rams is because Tampa's in a softer division and they'll win more games in their division.
And obviously the Bake Show.
And Big Show. Polly's boy, Big Show.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion for next?
Yes.
Washington.
Really?
I know everybody's high on Daniels. Everybody's high on the Redskin or the Commanders.
The Reds.
I almost said it. I almost got canceled. Um,
Our first censored episode.
I think I honestly,
That's it. Take us off the air.
You normally see a fall off after a good rookie quarterback season, so I think you are going to see a little bit of regression in Daniels. I think that again, it's the division. They're in a tough division. I honestly think that Philly is going to give them 2 losses, as well as I think they could definitely split with the other 2 because those division games in that division specifically. I don't care what your record is. Any one of those teams always seems to beat the others. They always see that division always seems to beat up on each other. So when you're talking about the division games, it's not going to be a cakewalk for them. It's going to be harder for them to get to where they were last season. So I kind of like them here.
I agree. I actually had them here. I think Washington's a very good football team, but there is that sophomore slump is real. We saw it with CJ Stroud.
Yep.
I mean, teams are going to figure.
We saw it here.
Yeah, teams are going to figure that out, and there's no way they're going to be able to carry on the way that they did and score the way that they were at will, the way that they did. And some of those crazy plays aren't going to happen again. The Hail Mary that they had to win that game was it against Dallas. That's not going to. Yeah, Chicago. That's not going to happen again. So yeah, I mean, I think they're very good, but I also think they got really lucky in the playoffs too.
I mean, they did improve on offense by getting Debo, right? Or is it Ayuk?
Ayuk's still in San Francisco. I think Debo.
Getting Debo definitely improves them and gives them a pretty significant threat for Daniels to throw to. And what the hell's their running back's name? Is it Robinson?
No, he went.
Brian Robinson?
Yeah, Brian Robinson. I mean, he was having a pretty good year last year until he got hurt. If he comes out and he can continue what he started last year, especially because they had brought in somebody that they said was going to take his spot, and he pretty much outplayed the person who they brought in. For the life of me, I can't remember who it was, but he basically kept his starting role. And I don't know, I think that they, barring a sophomore slump, I think that they have the potential to actually go higher.
Well, I think if you compare them though, if you take, do the Commanders beat the Eagles, the Lions, or the Packers?
I think they could. I definitely think they could beat the Packers.
Well, I don't know about that. I think the Packers could go to Washington and beat them rather than Washington going to the Packers and beat them.
And we already saw the Commanders go to the Detroit and kick their teeth in.
Right.
We lost Paulie.
Yeah, so I do like them in this box. I just don't think they could beat the other three consistently or not at all.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I've been, props to Paulie for bringing that up. I'm fine. Washington at 4.
See, I would have put Green Bay there, but you guys have me outvoted here, so
I'm okay with Green Bay next.
I think
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to put Detroit there.
I would put what?
I'm going
to
put
Detroit crazy?
There. Nope. I think Green Bay is stacked.
Jordan Love has such an interception problem consistently every year that is automatically a check mark against them as a team.
I think that Detroit is going to maintain their trajectory, and they're definitely going to win their division. They're going to win that division. I think it's honestly a lock for Detroit to win that division. I hate it to say because I got a lot of Green Bay Packer fans who I want them to be happy, but I don't see them going beyond where the Lions are going this year. I think the Lions are the biggest threat to the Eagles in the conference, and I think it's between those two, to be honest.
I mean, honestly, if the Lions weren't as decimated by injuries as they were, I think we're looking at a whole different ending to the playoffs there.
And I just don't think Green Bay can beat either one of those teams. Like they could maybe, they play each team 10 times and maybe win, in my opinion, 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I just don't see how Green Bay would beat any of the Lions and Eagles. I mean, those teams.
I agree with you on the Eagles. I do agree with you on the Eagles. The Eagles are no surprise. The Eagles are very clearly number 1. But I think you guys are going to be surprised from the Packers this year. I think that's all I'm going to say. But I hope
so. I hope so because that's a team that I always want up there in the conversation in that conference.
You guys have me outvoted here though. So Green Bay at 3.
Honestly, the other problem I have with Green Bay too is that their defense can't seem to make big stops when they need to.
Neither could Detroit's last year.
Yes, because Detroit was missing 12 out of how many starters?
I just don't see what Green Bay has done to improve their status from last year, and that's something that they needed to do.
Well, they added Golden in the draft. They added Jair Alexander.
I mean, they always have good receivers.
Yeah, Alexander's a corner.
I meant as far as
Jair's always been there though.
No, I think he just signed there, didn't he?
No, he's been their starting quarterback. We took Rasul Douglas was his opposite guy again, was his partner.
I mean, now you've got Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden as your starting wide receiver. I mean, Green Bay might have the best starting 2 wide receivers in the league behind the Eagles.
Oh, don't think about
behind Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, in the NFC.
I just think that with the NFC, the way it is, and the way it's looking to be this year, I think it's definitely Detroit and Philly's conference, and I'll say that Green Bay is the best of the rest.
All right. Well, I've been outvoted. So Packers at 3, Lions at 2, Eagles at 1.
I mean, yeah, the Eagles are just clearly leagues ahead of pretty much everyone else. Detroit is the closest one behind them, but I still think that Philly laps them.
I do too. I think Philly's the best team in the league, and I don't think it's close.
Until somebody punches them in their mouths like they punched Kansas City in the mouths on the very last game of the last season, That's going to have to be the case. That they are the best team, and it's undisputed. I think at this point, I don't think really anyone. I don't even think our friend Nick Wright has even. You know,
Yeah.
is he still have who? He's got to agree.
You think?
They got punched in the face.
Oh, they came out and just slapped them around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was just. I mean, I was waiting for somebody to throw a flag out. I mean, it was just like, yo, get a white flag out here. We got enough of this. I've never seen Kansas City get beat up like that ever.
I mean, it was nice to see.
It was
Yeah, definitely a fan.
It made that Super Bowl worth watching. That's for sure. So
under their defense can even do anything.
yeah,
No.
I mean they couldn't do anything, and like they literally put a dagger in their hearts. Like when Kansas City almost got it close within like 2.5 scores, then they just threw that bomb to AJ Brown and just put the game away right there. That was out of this world.
Philly's a complete team too. They're good on both offense and defense.
I mean, they did lose some players on defense, so they might be a little,
good coaching.
Might be a little vulnerable, and their coach is a lunatic. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see. All right, guys, that's our list. Thank you so much for joining us, and we want to send a special shout out to our new eye in the sky, Mr. Paulie B. As always, I've been Mike, joined by Mr. Sean and Mr. T. Reese. And guys, hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it so much. We've added a bunch of new subscribers recently, so we're trying to get to 100 here. Guys, help us out, get us there, and we're gonna do a special giveaway when we get to 100. And that's the episode, guys. Thanks so much, and look forward to our content coming up again this weekend. Thank you very much.